Hello world, it's Gojo with you once again. Hope you're all doing well. If you saw my last video, you'll know that I went to Japan for 2 weeks. Actually, go check out that video if you want to know more about the trip and how it went and all the cool stuff I saw. And in this video, I'm going to show off the different figures I got during the trip. To be honest, I actually got a lot of also little figures like gashapons and stuff, but I'm not going to show them off because I got so many of them and they're all kind of tiny anyway. So I'm going to just mainly focus on the big figures I got that I was actually, well, big, they're not that big, but the main figures I got that I'm very excited about. You know, I got some various figures from different places, you know, the Godzilla stores, and also places like called Mandarake and Hobby Off, which I'll talk about. And I got some of these in like Shinjuku and Akihabara. So yeah, I'll be going through each figure and giving you my thoughts. I'll even be unboxing one of them. So check it out in this video. Okay, so we're looking now at, what would this be called? The Mechagodzilla, like, you know, Neon Genesis Evangelion Special Color Edition, whatever. I mainly got this one actually because my sister really wanted to get this one. He's a nice little figure. He's quite small, to be fair, like a lot of movie monster figures these days. He's quite small, but he's got some amount of articulation. The tail as well. He's got some articulation in the tail. Not the waist, because whatever, Bandai Movie Monsters. And then he's got his little missile pack. I think this figure, if the color, the paint job is amazing. That's kind of the reason to get the figure. The sculpt is pretty good. Like I said, he's quite small. And then as in typical movie monster fashion these days, he's got very little articulation. But the sculpt is nice. The paint job is nice. He's kind of small, but I do like it. And he's kind of cool. I mean, this is almost more to like just to have like a figure on the shelf that looks cool because of the paint job, really. That's the main reason we got this one. Now moving on to this one. This one was one I was really excited about, and it was one I was looking for. It's a model kit by this brand. They have a few actually. I think they have one of, like I said, the special color version like this. They also have one that I saw from Tokyo SOS. I think they even have the little fighter jets that like escort Kiryu, but I think this one is like the Kiryu MFS3 set, something like that. So it's like a one of these that I think these are quite popular in Japan, where like it comes in like all these pieces. For example, these are kind of the pieces I have left. So all of these were like little pieces that you had to cut out and then assemble to build this guy. It took me, you know, a little bit of time. I think it's one of my first ones I've ever done, but I think he turned out really well and he looks really cool. This is definitely one that I really wanted to get. In fact, if you notice, I gave him the red eyes, so when he's in his berserk mode, I guess. I'm going to try and show off a little bit of his articulation, but also like I don't want to move it too much. He is a little bit fragile, like he's quite light, so I don't want to like move him too much. Like I think he'd be amazing for stop motion, but you also need to be a little bit careful. Some of the joints are a bit loose too, so I might put some putty on them or something. But yeah, what is cool is like the chest opens, the mouth opens, you can take the missile pack off. You can, I gave him both, like the designs, the schematics is you can like put the blade on whichever thing you, whichever wrist you want. I put blades on both. I thought he would look cooler with blades on both. And I'll also try and do a size comparison between him, the special color version, and then like the 2002 Bandai Movie Monster Kiryu that they made back in the day that was like I think 9 inches. So you'll get a good idea of the scale of this guy, but he is really cool. He's a bit of effort to put together. I think this is like my first time building one of these. Like I built model kits in the past, but this one had a lot of pieces and it took a lot of time and effort, but I think it was worth it. And this guy, I'm very excited to have him in my collection. So I was able to take the missile pack off, but he broke apart a little bit. So if you ever get one of these, he's not super easy to transition if you want to take the missile pack off. Though the wrist things do come off pretty easily. And then what I have here in this bag is I have like extra dorsal plates, but I'm not gonna, and I've got extra hands as well. I've got extra dorsal plates that go on his back, so you can have him in like in his, you know, his normal non-missile pack mode. But I'm not gonna do that right now because after all that trouble, I'm gonna put the missile pack back on, so I don't really want to do that again. But yeah, he looks great. Next up, we have Bagan, you know, never know how to pronounce this guy's name. So this was a nice little piece I picked up at the Godzilla store in Shinjuku. And in fact, so what actually happened was, as I was in Japan, I realized that not only was there the Bagan, but there was also the special color version for the Super Godzilla video game. So basically it was this figure, but with the colors of what he looks like in the video game. And I realized that they would have it at the Godzilla store. So I went and I did find in there. I did find this version and the special color version. I was originally going to get the special color version, but I decided to go with this one because in person, like in the photos online, it looked more red and it was like kind of more nostalgia for the game, but in person, like it looked kind of a muddy orange. And I thought this one looked a lot cooler in person, especially like the colors really stand out. So it's more like the classic Bagan that we all have seen in concept art versus the game. It's like the same figure, just kind of more orange looking. And now can I just say this figure is amazing. First of all, I'm blown away by the fact that I'm holding a Bagan figure. So like, I'd never imagined I would have a Bagan figure in my collection, and here we are. Still have the tag, so the tag is pretty cool looking. There you go. And look at that concept art, he looks great. Yeah, man, I miss these old tags. Then there's a whole bunch of stuff. Then you have this cool little thing here, Movie Monster Series. And yeah, this is a pretty nice figure, you know. I will say Movie Monster Series figures these days, the sculpts are always immaculate, man. The sculpts have gotten very good. And honestly, he's not too small either. Like I said, my gripes with movie monster figures these days is they're too small and they have very little articulation. But this guy is pretty decent size. And articulation, well, it's nothing amazing, but arms move, legs move, which, hey, that's already a winner. And also, surprisingly, tail moves. I did not expect that. You don't get a lot of tail movement out of these figures. If his head moved, I would have been blown away. I was like, that's a whole lot of articulation for a movie monster figure. This is really cool. Like it blows my mind still that I have a Bagan figure in my collection, and he looks really cool. The sculpt is great. And honestly, like, there's very few Bagan figures out there. Like, this is kind of a rare gem, period, you know? And then the back looks really cool, too. Like, we've never really seen Bagan from the back. And his tail and everything. So, this is really cool. Like, I'm very excited to have in my collection, and I'm really happy I went with this version. Bagan, everyone. Next up, we've got one that I was also kind of interested in getting before I went to the Godzilla store, and I thought, well, let me see if they have it. And again, I've got both of these guys at Shinjuku. It was like hit the jackpot, shall we say, because there was Bagan, but also there was Zilla, and I was like, you know what? I don't have a Godzilla 98 figure in my collection anymore. I haven't had one in years, actually, so I said, let me get this one. This is about to get very confusing. So technically, there is a Zilla figure, and Zilla is the creature from Final Wars. Now, I know people have been saying, oh, this creature is Zilla, right? No. Apparently, this is Godzilla 1998, and that other creature from Final Wars is Zilla. And this is like official. This is according to Toho, basically, and Bandai. So this is Godzilla 1998. Zilla is actually the creature from Final Wars. Very confusing, I know. I was also like, what? But okay, I thought that creature was Zilla. Who cares? It's a cool figure. The sculpt is great. Like, it looks just like Zilla. I would say the paint job is a bit bland. Like, there's a little bit of blue on the, whatever you call them. I guess, would these be dorsal plates? He, she, they are just kind of like a grayish tone. So there's not a lot of like detail in the paint job, you know, so, but the eye does look cool. The eye does look really cool. And there's even like a little dot in the eye to mark the people. So, you know, they did put some detail into the eye, but it's just like, I wish it was more blue. Honestly, if you really want like a really high quality Zilla figure, while we wait for, you know, SH Monsterarts or Haya Toys, there's the YMS Zilla figures that I think are maybe higher quality. From here, the dorsal fins look great. Actually, you could see a lot of the, I just wish they used more, because it's like, it just kind of ends. And like, they left like half of this without the blue, and then some of it's just gray. And then the tail is nothing. The tail just boring gray. So honestly, I think the sculpt in this figure is great. I just wish the paint job was better. There is like a little bit of blue on the chest, but that's it. But anyway, look, it's exciting. I have Zilla in my collection again. Zilla, Godzilla 98, whatever you want to call this creature. It's exciting. Also, the tag is pretty cool. Like, we get Godzilla 98, that famous photo. Inside, you know, we always get this information. And then on the back, you get this cool thing. And look, it says Godzilla. So I'm gonna let you guys decide if this is Godzilla or Zilla. You know what? Apparently Bandai says this is Godzilla 98, so, and the other creature is Zilla apparently. I don't know, I don't really care. This for me is a cool monster. I either call him G98 or I call him Zilla, so him, she, they. Let's not get too fussed up. This is another figure I'm very excited about actually. This is the Gamera Rebirth SH Monsterarts figure. This one I actually got at a place called Mandarake. It's like a vintage, not the right word. We're like secondhand store where they sell a lot of collectibles. They sell like comic books and books, movies, and figures. Lots of figures. So I got this guy. I found him. I was actually looking for him. I got him in Akihabara. In fact, I was looking for him. I went to the Tamashii Nation store, and of course, Tamashii Nations didn't have much, actually. It was supposed to be a huge store, and I didn't see much, actually, there. I went to Mandarake, and I found him. Used, of course. And for what I felt like was a pretty fair price of 18,000 yen, and which is a lot, but I mean, compared to what they were selling them online, much more. For a figure for being out a few years, and what I've heard from many people was that he's one of the best SH Monsterarts figures out there. I have my strong opinions on SH Monsterarts, so I don't have many in my collection. So the fact that I actually bought one, there must have been a good reason for it, and I think I'll have to say I think he was worth it. Well, first of all, we don't really have that many Gamera Rebirth figures anyway. I saw the other, SH Monsterarts Gamera figures. They didn't blow my mind too much, but this guy, on the other hand, he is, like you could tell, he is a tank. He's a big boy. And the sculpt is great. This is SH Monsterarts. The sculpt is always like the best part. Some of the quality sometimes doesn't much count, but this guy is pretty good quality. But he's quite a thick figure. He doesn't feel too cheap or anything. And the pupils look good too. They line up pretty well. But what's also really cool about this guy, and probably why a lot of people like him, is that he comes also with all the pieces. So he comes with you can put him in a flying mode basically. He looks really cool. And he has like a base. He has this cool base, which I put a little Gyaos. I got one of, this is like just a random little thing I got. You can put him on top of this and he looks like he's flying, I guess over the water or something. So that is really cool. I love kind of features like that you can kind of like customize, not customize, but change a figure. But yeah, honestly, he is really cool. This is a really nice figure. I think SH Monsterarts did a really good job with what really was like just an anime character, not even like a live action version of Gamera, but they did a really good job with this sculpt. Probably their best one, honestly. And even if he does look kind of funny from the front sometimes, I think that has nothing to do with the figure. That's the design from the show. I also thought the design from the show, he did look a little bit funny from the front sometimes. But anyway, I'm very excited to have a really cool looking Gamera figure in my collection. So yeah, move on to King Ghidorah 1991 Bandai Movie Monsters. This is actually the new sculpt that came out fairly recently. I got this guy actually not at the Godzilla store, though they had him. I actually got him at a place called Hobby Off, which is also kind of similar to Mandarake. It's like a second-hand store where again they have a lot of stuff. They've got movies, books, figures, collectibles, clothes. It's really cool. I think Hobby Off is the version that has all the collectibles and stuff, and there's another version called Book Off that has just movies, books, music, all used. So, but a great collection. So yeah, I got him there for half the price that he was at the Godzilla store. This guy's in good condition. The only thing is he didn't come with the tag, but I'm not one of those people that cares. So for me, it was worth it. I'd rather just get him cheaper, but otherwise he's in great condition. Again, a couple reasons why I got this one. One, I needed a King Ghidorah in my collection because I haven't had one in a while. So I'm how is that possible? He's my favorite Godzilla villain. How do I not have a King Ghidorah in my collection? And then I saw this sculpt and I thought it looks pretty good. And seeing it in person, I was really impressed with this sculpt. And to be fair, the 91 King Ghidorah is not really my favorite, but this sculpt I really like this sculpt a lot. Actually, originally I wanted the Showa Ghidorah, but the problem in the Godzilla store has him. However, you have to buy this box set that comes with 4 other figures, and I really wasn't that interested, and I just said, you know what, I'll just get this one instead. Yeah, because otherwise you have to get the box set. So the Showa Ghidorah was the one I really wanted, but I decided to just get this one instead. He looks great. If there is another solo Showa Ghidorah figure in the future, though, I'll probably have to add into my collection. But anyway, here's King Ghidorah Movie Monsters. I guess this would be the new one. Great, I think great sculpt. great sculpt. I don't know what it is. He just looks really fierce. Like, you compare to previous sculpts they had of the movie monsters. I don't know. He looked kind of timid or something. This new one, he looks like really scary and really mean. So this is a great sculpt. Articulation, he's moving monsters. What do you expect? So the wings move up and down, and the legs move. You know what though? To be completely fair, wait, does the tail move too? No. But I would say that's still more articulation than the 2019 King of the Monsters, MonsterVerse King Ghidorah that had like no articulation whatsoever. So that's already quite a bit of articulation. And the back looks great. The tail looks really great. I love the gold paint job. I'm not sure how well it comes off in you know, with this camera, but like the gold is beautiful. It's like a nice brass gold, you know, it's very cool. So the gold paint job they chose is really nice. So yeah, very happy to have King Ghidorah back in the collection. Now we're here actually for a special treat. So this is the SH, is it Figurarts or SH Ultra Act? Whatever that means. This is Ultraman from the manga. I don't think it's from the show actually. I think it's directly from the manga. Obviously, the show is an adaptation of the manga, so he looks exactly the same. But I think this is technically, it's the same thing, but it's technically from the manga. Maybe the show, it's slightly different, but it's pretty much, to me, it looks almost exactly the same. So yeah, this is Ultraman from the manga. Probably my opinion, one of my favorite versions of Ultraman. I know there's the classic Ultraman, and the Ultraman fans will say, what? You know, I do like the classic Ultraman. I think Shin Ultraman's design looks pretty cool, but I was like, you know what? This is a figure I've wanted for a long time. I'm very excited to have this one. So yeah, I'm gonna unbox this guy and give you my thoughts on it. I've not opened him since I got back. We're gonna unbox him and check, and I'll give you guys my opinion. Okay, so now we've can start taking him out. By the way, nice box, I will say. Nice box. But they have in here included Ultra 7, who's also really cool. This is 2015, so this is old. Yeah, I'm sure this figure is quite old. And they give you kind of like some instructions, how to kind of put everything together. What a fun little figure, actually. He's very posable. I quite like that. But the quality is really good. Like, I don't know. I always give SH Monsterarts a hard time, but this is not SH Monsterarts, right? This is SH Figurarts, which is slightly different. So hopefully you can see that. You know, he has his little blade wrist things that he can fight with. So you can give him those. So here's a Specium Ray coming out, but in order to do that, you need to put his hands in a certain pose. Okay, so it took a little bit, but I was finally able to change out his hands, and I gave him his little Specium, so now he's kind of doing it. I mean, it's not exactly as he should be doing it, but I really didn't want to spend much more time. Changing his hands was a bit more complicated than I thought. But otherwise, like, sick figure. His Specium Ray thing kind of does fall down a little bit, but it's because it's so much power that's shooting out of him. So yeah, it's really cool. I really like this figure because he like has so many parts and stuff. Like, you know, there's so much you can do with him, and he's super posable. Great for like stop motion. And also he looks really cool. And he scales really well with these guys, you know, like you put him next to Zilla. My first Ultraman figure in my collection. So very exciting. Very exciting to have this guy in the collection. Okay, well that's it for the figure haul review unboxing. I hope you liked it, and I hope you liked the figures that I got. Yeah, it was really cool to get these figures. Obviously, you know, I was in Japan. I had to kind of take advantage, you know, being able to get all these figures. Pretty good prices. To be fair, it wasn't super cheap either. There were other figures I really wanted that were quite expensive. So even in Japan, the figures are still quite expensive there. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with the figures I got. I'd love to know in the comments below what you guys think of the figures. Do you like them? Is there anything else that you think I should have gotten while I was in Japan? If you had the opportunity to go to Japan, what figures would you want to get? I'd love to know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you all for checking out this video, and well, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!